Hi, everybody. We're waiting for Hurricane Dorian, and we're waiting. There's nothing. The whole state is waiting. So, if you're not in Florida right now, or hopefully not the Bahamas, rejoice because there's like nothing. We can't, there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. Um, Maybe Disney. I know they're still open. No. So, I wanted to share the cards of the week, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the new moon in Virgo that happened a couple of days ago. I'm not an astrologer, and but I do really. It is fascinating to me. I'm not knowledgeable. It's not my. It's not what I do. I really focus on the psychic and medium aspects of it, but I do love the accuracy and the science of it, and I think it's really fascinating, and I think it's very important to know where the moon is because it has impact on us. So I've been speaking to a lot of people. It's just a very emotional time with the moon now, and I know to a certain extent, especially here locally in Florida, that there's a lot of that is part of hurricane anxiety, because hurricane anxiety is a very real thing because you're stuck. You're stuck in your house, you're stuck wherever you are, but it is so much of hurry up and wait. And as we've been hearing from so many friends and loved ones in other parts of the country, people are like, oh my god, because they're watching the news, and it's always worse when you're watching the news. So right now, there's this big panic because this hurricane is headed straight for us, and now we don't know where it's going to go or what it's going to do or when it's going to decide to put the foot on the gas again. And so it's very it's very stressful for a lot of people because they're ready. They can't go to work, they can't go outside, they can't whatever, and there's literally nothing to do. So that stress of the waiting, and I'm sure you probably experienced that in your life where you've had, hi Debbie, where you've had the fear of a thing is greater than the thing when it finally gets here. And this hurricane, there is a category 5, now it's a 4, and it's, that's a big storm. That's not a thing to sneeze at, but at the same time, it may or may not hit us. And so it's, the stress of the thing can often be greater than the thing itself. And so I know there's a lot of folks that are really dealing with that hurricane anxiety right now. And so I ask you to be kind to yourself. I ask you to breathe, be grateful that it's not here, stand in the grass if you can. We took the dogs out for a walk because we wanted to make sure they had a nice, good, long walk before they were going to be cooped up in the house, because we thought Dorian was coming today. And so, of course, halfway through our walk, we got monsooned on and just got soaked to the skin, all the dogs soaked completely, and it hasn't rained, for the rest of the day. So that's been the hurricane, so far. Hi, Andy. Nice to see you. So just to be kind to yourself, if it's not raining where you are, if you can go outside and stand in the grass, I do highly recommend it, and just release that stress to the earth and just let that part go. I did make a point of going out and talking to Nakama, my tree, and I just thanked her for her good, strong roots and the way that she organizes the other trees to protect our home, and just really so much gratitude to that bubble of protection that they put around us. So you. So just to be filled with that gratitude helps so much. Other people I've talked to have been putting that bubble of love around their homes, and I think that makes such a big difference when you can fill your home with love and that energy of love and the energy of self, and just fill that and expand that into the space of your living room, and then expand it into your kitchens and your bedrooms, and just continue to expand it out until you've created this bubble of love energy around your home. I think it makes such a huge difference to just keeping the calm in the house. So, I'm being productive. We're catching up on lots of little projects that we've been meaning to do, because there's nothing else to do. So no Labor Day barbecues here. So I did want to share the cards because I thought, oh, so let me finish talking about the new moon in Virgo. So see, hurricane brain. So one of the things that happens when we have a new moon is energy. I will. Thanks, sweetheart. We should catch up, Andy. It's been a long time. One of the things that happens when you are in the new moon cycle is energy comes down from the full moon and goes back up into the new moon. So down in the full moon, up in the full, to the new moon. So when we have the full moon, and people are very accustomed to hearing about being reactive to, emotions and energies and all this stuff from the full moon, and then we get, energy that comes down. And so things can be hitting us harder until we get to the new moon, and the energy is going to come back up again. So when you are, so many people have been talking about this because the new moon right now is all about relationships, and it's all about your claiming your power, reclaiming your power. So when we have those places that we may have given away our power, whether we have realized it or not, the universe and your soul, you get discomfort, you get uncomfortable in your space, and you get uncomfortable in your skin because there are these unresolved issues, places where, like I said, you've given away your power, whether it was intentionally, like, I'm going to let you handle that, and now I may or may not like how you handle it, and that's too late because I gave away my power, or unintentionally because somebody took it from you, whether they stepped in. We call it in my house gig jumping. If you are working on something and someone swoops in to do it for you instead, there's gig jumping, or even an energy vampire that made you feel off balance, made you feel like weak or diminished, or if somebody mansplained to you, or, I don't know if women do that, womansplained, I don't know, but if somebody was mean or rude, where your power, you felt in that moment where you had to stand up and your power was taken from you. So this is a big time of kind of planting your feet in the sand, in the ground, and really standing up and reclaiming our power and feeling that energy come up through the feet chakra, because we have multiple chakras in our feet, and feeling that power come up through the legs and up through that core where our chakras are. So through the base chakra and the sacral and the solar plexus, which is where we self-identify. So in our solar plexus chakra is how we think of ourselves, so, and how we see ourselves. So really feeling that into that solar plexus chakra and the sacral chakra of, where is my power? Is it within me, or is it out there and I don't feel powerful? So the idea is to connect yourself to Mother Earth and to allow that power to come up through you and to fill you, so that you are feeling strong in your core, and you're strong in yourself. And then you bring in the light from above as well to kind of connect all that together, so that you are feeling that strength of yourself. So we've been talking a lot about being in your authentic self, and that it comes from a place of power and self-identification. But the next step is really looking at, in my power, in being my authentic self, where are those places where I have either allowed my power to be taken from me, or given it away, or it was taken away? And those things that where we can bring our power back to ourselves, so that we are whole and we are able to live in our most authentic space, from a place of being in control of our, I don't think we're ever fully in control of our world. We're only in control of how we react to things that are happening in our world. But that still is a place of control, and having our power and how we react and how we deal with those things. So if you're sitting around waiting for hurricane, and maybe this is a good time to look at, where are those places in my life that I feel less than my full power? Is it in relationships? Is it in jobs? Is it family? Is it, where you live? Where is it that you feel less than your full power, that you stand in less than your full power? And what are some steps that you can do to take it back? For me, I have crystals in my bra all the time. I have crystals around my neck. I have crystals on my wrists, and usually in my pockets as well. So I'm fully armed, but I'm standing in the tree, standing with the tree, and standing in Mother Earth. There is something very, very powerful about standing barefoot in the grass and feeling that energy of Mother Earth coming up your legs and allowing it to pull down from you anything that doesn't serve your highest and best good and anything that doesn't belong to you, and then allowing it to come up in an empowering way to fill you up with the power of Mother Earth. And if you have any doubt of the power of Mother Earth, I mean, just watch the news right now, because there's a hurricane and he's a big one. So, connecting to the power, the love power of Mother Earth is really very spectacular. But this is the time to really look at, where are you giving your power away or allowing it to be taken from you? And what are some of those things where you can stand up and take it back? Sometimes I think we have friends or relatives that just kind of siphon off. They, suck things out of us, whether intentionally or not intentionally. They take advantage, or they just, feel like they can because of that relationship that they have with you. And those are places where we can take our power back. Keeping some space where we have, if people talk about, now my mom is awesome. But people talk about, I can't be around my mom because she, and there were times when my mom and I really struggled, but to have that, where can you keep your distance from a relative or a friend or a person who isn't, who doesn't share power, or who siphons that power off and makes you feel less. In a work situation, if it's something you may need to leave the job, or is it something that you can talk to your coworker or your supervisor and say, hey, listen, when you do this, it makes me feel like that. And, is there a way that we can shift the situation? I'm not talking about confrontation. I don't think that things need to be handled in confrontation. I think that they can be handled with care and with caring, and to be able to say, hey, this makes me unhappy or uncomfortable. Where can we come together to try and be on a more kind or even footing when we handle, this situation next time? I think sometimes people just don't even realize that they're short, or and I mean in attitude, I don't mean in size, or that they're unkind or uncaring, and sometimes it is the things, just how we take it, to watch that person's behavior. Are they like that with everyone, or is it just us? Or but looking for those places where you can stand firm in your power and feel that strength of self. I love some television show that I had seen where they, it's Grey's Anatomy, where the girls, the women, or these surgeons, these really smart surgeons, where they stand in their power pose before they do surgery, and they look up. And I think that's marvelous, because that's standing in your power, and that's standing in a place where you feel powerful before you go do something that's scary or difficult, and really reclaiming the power. And I think that's just spectacular. To hands on hips, feet apart, look up. I am powerful. And I think that's really awesome. So I think that's, those things where we can take back our power. And I think that becomes very, very important. And that is what the energy of the new moon is about this time, is about really self-identification, who we really are, and being our authentic self is stuff that we've been working on over the last month. And now to come into this new cycle of, okay, now you know who you are and who you want to be, hopefully. And now what are you going to do about it? How can you stand in your power? So really such interesting things to think about. So then we bring in the cards of the week, and I always love how everything all just sticks together. And so clear your space, and this just made me laugh just out loud, because right now my house is so full of stuff, because we brought in all the stuff, and in truth, I'm so sorry, because in truth this was an opposition card, because all the stuff from my front patio is in my dining room, and all the stuff from my back patio is all clustered up underneath, from the pool area is clustered up under the patio by the house. And I have pool floaties in the hall closet, because we have friends who had to evacuate, and their cats are in the bathroom, and they're in the guest room, and it's just, right now there's just, and the car is in the garage, which we never put our cars in the garage, and we've got all kinds of stuff everywhere right now, because we're in hunker down mode for hurricanes. And so I just had to laugh because it's clear your space. But one of the things that happens when you're in hunker down mode is it isn't about clearing the physical space, because obviously right now that is not a possibility, but it is about clearing the space and clearing the space. And so I think that's super, super important. And then I was laughing because the next card was Indigo and Crystal Children, but it was also in opposition. So the first two were upside down. And so I was really laughing about this because, especially again, for people who are dealing with a hurricane right now, when you're trapped in the house with small children, or maybe adults that act like small children, this can be very challenging. But remember that the indigos and the crystals are the truth tellers. They are the ones that are here for a very specific purpose. There are so many of us who believe that the indigos, as they come of age, because they're really in their like 20s right now, one batch of them, there are certainly indigos that are much older, but that this batch of indigos that are in their 20s and early 30s right now, that they're going to be the ones to really shift the planet in another, another 10 years. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with them. But this card is Archangel Metatron. It says you have a bond with children. In particular, you can help children who are sensitive. And so as you are, and so remember, it's in trying to get you to shift into a different direction. It's not face value when it's upside down. It's trying to redirect you. So when you are standing in your true power and you're living in your authentic self, to be able to share that wisdom with the young people around you, because when they can grow up spiritually aware, metaphysically aware, it makes such a huge difference for them to be able to stand in their power much earlier in their lives. And so many of us, where we like grew up and we weren't supported and we weren't aware and we didn't talk about such things because people would say we were crazy or hyper emotional or whatever. These kids, this generation, they're going to grow up. They can by spiritually aware people, and they can have the opportunity to understand about standing in their true power and not giving their power away and being their authentic selves much earlier than many of us. So being able to redirect and really support the indigos and the crystals becomes so important for what we're doing in raising the light and bringing forward the next generation. So not something to sneeze at. Now, Divine Order was the next card that came up, and this was right side up. So yay, right side up cards. So Raguel, Archangel Raguel says, everything is how it needs to be right now. Look past the illusion to see the underlying order. And I love this. I love this because one of the things that I do understand about a hurricane, now I'm a Florida girl, I've lived all over the country, but I'm a Florida girl. I moved to Florida as a young child, and I'm a beach bum. I love the beach. I grew up on the beach in Fort Lauderdale, and I don't live near the beach now, but we do go as often as we can. And one of the things that I know about living through hurricanes, and really we've been back in Florida for about 15 years, which I can't even believe it's been that long already. But and this house that we've been through, this will be our 8th hurricane, not even counting all the tropical storms. This will be the 8th hurricane. So what I think is so spectacular about a hurricane is, while it is frustrating and sometimes agonizingly slow, and sometimes very hot when the power goes out, it's really like a forced timeout where you have to just slow down and take some time and breathe and practice self-care, because there's literally nothing else to do. You get to connect with family. Maybe you're calling and talking to them because you want to make sure they're okay, or they want to make sure you're okay. Maybe you're doing some yoga or getting some exercise, and there's nothing else to do. Maybe you're having family game night because there's nothing else to do. And it's just, I think that sometimes we look at these things that when the hurricanes, because it pretty much works this way every time. I mean, very, very few hurricanes. Hurricane Charlie came in just whoosh and just never had a pause. Irma came in just whoosh, never had a pause. But a lot of times the storms they'll come and then there's this pause. Hurry up and wait for the storm to get here. And I think, and it's been so many, it's hard to keep them all straight, but I think Matthew and Michael were a bit like that. Nothing like this. I don't remember any hurricane that's been moving at a mile, 1 mile an hour. It's agonizingly slow, but at the same time, I look around, I'm like, I got a lot of stuff done today. And yesterday too, we had a lovely day. Friday we went to Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival, the opening weekend, and I got writing in my journal and catching up on paperwork and just enjoying the time with my family. Last night we all went out to dinner and we had a blast. So sometimes the cosmic timeout is because everything is working exactly the way it's supposed to be. So trust in the universe and allow for that possibility, that reality, that you are exactly where you're supposed to be in order to learn what you need to learn to move forward and achieve what you came here to do. So I love that, because the last card, I was again kind of called to pick up a fourth card today. And so in doing that, I was laughing because the last card is spread your wings, which will happen, of course, once we're freed from hurricane bondage. So this one says, Archangel Ariel, and it says, do not hold back right now. The timing is perfect and you are ready to soar. So I think a lot of times we have that moment where we have the bowstring gets pulled back on the bow and arrow in order to be able to release it and go forward. And I think that becomes really important. And so if you're, again, in hurricane jail, to be able to take the time to organize and plan and consider what happens next. Where do you want to go next? What is next for you? This is a brand new month. Today's the 2nd. And I know today is Labor Day for everybody who's not in hurricane prep, so no barbecues. But I hope you're all having a wonderful Labor Day. But really to consider, what is it that this slowdown can offer you in the way of preparation for that next moment when you can spread your wings and move forward. So to recap, we have clearing your space in redirection, in upside down. So this is about, you can't really clear your physical space right now, but can you clear your head and your heart, okay? And then to be looking at, to be looking at the young people around you and how can you help them to expand their minds and their hearts to really welcome in the light and to help them feel like they are moving in the light, not like so many of us that grew up sort of behind closed doors because this was weird and crazy and stuff like that. And then remembering that everything is truly happening exactly the way it's supposed to be happening, and that it's all preparation for you to be able to spread your wings. And step forward at the moment the doors open and hurricane jail is over. So I did pull our postcard from the universe today, and I asked, what do we need to share with you from the postcard? Aren't they so cute, from Colette Baron Reed, that they look like postcards? So it says, dearest you, do you know how much we love you and want to help you? We're here for you and we hear you ask for guidance, but you must let go and let us help you. You don't have to do it all. You've done your part. Now let us do ours. You would be awestruck if you know how many strings were pulled through the matrix to give you what you need and desire. Spirit has a plan, and when you sign up to be a co-creator, you need to remember to allow the partnership. It's not one-sided. Your desires and plans meet up with those of Spirit. Remember, though, Spirit's timetable and ideas of how things will play out may be quite different from yours. Trust us. Spirit's ideas are amazing. Now let go and let us do the magic. Pay attention to other areas of your life, and before you know it, a miracle will have taken place. We love you so much. This just, every week it just, knocks me out, because there's 52 of these. I pulled one, I put it in a different pile so I don't pull it hand, and I say, please guide me to the card that we need for today. And so here we had the last two cards of our reading today that were Divine Order and Spread Your Wings, which go exactly in what this card from the universe said. So so trust that everything is really working the way it's supposed to in divine order, and that it's setting you up to be able to move forward and spread your wings the moment that door opens. But it's up to you to be ready. Have a great week. Stay safe if you're in the path of the storm. Please stay safe. There are many of us who are meditating and praying for Dorian to stay offshore and stay where he will do no harm. And so if you'd like to join in that, raise the vibration, please feel free. Please like and comment on this post, on this video, and if you feel so inclined, please share it with your friends. I am always so honored. Invite them to like our page, and we'll welcome them into our community. I love you all. I'm so grateful for you, every single one of you. Please stay safe. Have a wonderful week. Happy Labor Day.